Hey there, guys and gals. So, what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be showing how to load balance Exchange 2013 using vCloud Networking and Security Edge devices. So, vCloud Networking and Security, formerly known as VMware vShield, is the suite of security products that VMware has for securing the cloud. So you have components like vShield Manager, which basically manages the various appliances and creates the rules and policies that are pushed down to the various network devices, network appliances, security appliances, as we'll see in a second. You have vShield app appliances, which provide your hypervisor level firewall, port-to-port firewall, NIC-to-NIC firewall, traffic separation, segregation, things like that. And then you have vShield Edge, which provides your edge services. So things like VPN tunnels, DHCP, and what we're concerned with and what we're going to be talking about today is load balancing. So it's one of the little known features of the vCNS suite, the ability to provide stateful, although not required for Exchange 2010, but provide stateful load balancing, layer 7, layer 4 load balancing. And it's available in the package that, as a VMware customer, you might already be entitled to, depending on what you're purchasing. So when we're thinking about, well, okay, we want to deploy Exchange, we know Exchange front ends or CAS servers or however the environment is laid out, we know that we have to load balance traffic coming in. That's a given. So what are your options? Well, you can go the Windows NLB route, but who wants to deal with that? That's not even Microsoft doesn't even recommend that, right? So typical next approach is, all right, let's start looking at load balancers. And seldom do I ever hear people talk about virtual appliance load balancers. It makes perfect sense, right? You have the capacity there. Why not use your compute capacity for providing the load balancing? Who wants to manage more hardware devices? So there's plenty of virtual appliance load balancers out there. A lot of the companies, probably most of the companies that create hardware load balancers, like F5, have these virtual appliances readily available. Then there's partners and other third parties out there that make dedicated, that all they make is virtual appliance load balancers. So you can go out and look at those. But look, if you're entitled to it and you have the ability to use vShield and vCNS, why not just use it? All right. So that's my spiel. So let's get down to it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and log into vShield Manager. So obviously all of this assumes that at least vShield Manager is up and running. And vShield Manager is just an appliance, right? So once we have that appliance deployed in our environment, we've linked it up to vCenter server, then we have the capability to do these things. And so I've put in these little bubbles here with, so you can put me on mute if you want and get the same effect, but why would you want to do that? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add some edge gateways. Okay, so I don't even have edge gateways. I don't have those gateways in the environment yet. I'm running through the wizard now. I've gone ahead and enabled high availability. And what that's going to do is that's going to create two edge appliances that will be highly available. So if I lose one, the other edge appliance will come up automatically and take over the load. And now, if you've deployed VMs, a lot of this looks familiar. We're telling vShield Manager where to deploy my edge devices, what cluster, etc. Next thing I need to do is I need to add some uplink interfaces and some internal interfaces. All right, we need an ingress and egress point, but it's really just a traffic in, traffic out from the load balancer. And then we're going to set a default gateway for. And I'm going to get this confusing, but when I say load balancer, I really mean the edge appliances. I'll try to watch my tongue there. Just for the sake of getting this going, I'm going to go ahead and set the traffic policy to accept all incoming connections. And then review my summary and click Finish. Now, what this is doing is this is deploying the OVF files that contain the vShield Edge. It's not that fast. I obviously sped it up for the sake of getting this video over with. But now we'll have a couple of vShield edges out there in the vSphere cluster. If you were to go over to vCenter, you'd see them there. And this is what's currently set up right now. So this is all default settings. I've done nothing to this point. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and set up a syslog server because I want to make sure that I can keep track of what's going on in the environment. And in this case, I just set up a simple Windows-based syslog server on my vCenter server. It's a package that comes with the vCenter server installer. So if you have no other syslog server, it's the perfect one to deploy. It's very lightweight. Gets the job done. So take a look at the firewall rules here. Again, these are just the default settings. And there's no NAT. We'll come back to that. There will be some NAT rules created for us when we get the load balancing going. So first things first here, we're going to start configuring our load balancer. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create a pool. And we'll give this a descriptive name. And we're going to set up what types of services we want the pool to load balance. So we'll pick HTTP and HTTPS. And we can pick the balancing method. Round robin seems to be just fine. I don't think we need to do anything more than that. And then for health check, we definitely want to do some health checking here. So we want to make sure that this is basically the check that's going to go against the various nodes in our pool, our members, if you will. And when a member doesn't respond, it'll be pulled out of the pool. So those two members are my two CAS servers, my two Exchange 2013 CAS servers. And I can review my settings, and all looks good. So I'll go ahead and publish my changes. And this is what writes it to the configuration file. So I went ahead and made a mistake there on purpose. If you read instructions, you would notice, if I read instructions, I would know that there's no spaces allowed. So that was my bad. So I'll just go ahead and run through that. And now publish changes, and now everything will work magically. So next thing to do, so we have our pool. We have a pool of servers. We know what services we're going to load balance. Now we need to set up a VIP. So this is the point where all client communication will come into. A VIP, virtual IP, virtual server, whatever you want to call it. We'll go ahead and give that the IP address we're going to use. And pick the pool. We only have one pool. And we're going to select the services we want to load balance, and then we're going to select the persistence method. So Exchange 2013 doesn't require persistence, right? So I'm going to go and select none. You know, persistence, having to keep track of the persistence adds overhead, right? Exchange 2013 doesn't need it. Why incur the extra overhead? You can absolutely do it if you wanted to, but no need. So we're done. Load balancing is configured for Exchange. So I'm going to go ahead and log into OWA. And I wasn't prompted for authentication. I've logged into it before. But we'll take a look at this. So I'm hitting my VIP. All right, I got to OWA, sending some mail. I have a DNS record for just mail, a record, mail, .wtest.local points back to the VIP. So this is another client machine here. So this is a first time logging on here, and I'll log on as my test user, and the VIP works. All right. So let's go check out syslog and see what syslog has to say. So again, this is the VMware syslog collector. Very lightweight, very easy to deploy. Definitely recommend it. All right, so we're going to take a look here. So here's our source IPs, and here's the backend server. All right, so let's go and let's break something. So this is my CAS server number 2. I'm going to go ahead and stop IIS. And what we'll do is we'll go back to the syslog server and see what's going on here. All right, so .89 has been marked down. and it says there's a layer 4 connectivity problem. So let's try to get something from OWA again. I know that this guy here was pointing to that CAS server number 2. So this is taking a minute because we're having to reestablish a session. And everything appears to work. And let's go back to my other client here. And things look okay. I'll just send a little piece of email here. And let's take a look at syslog. Let's see what syslog has to say. So we saw that it went down. Managed availability in Exchange 2013 actually saw that IIS was down and kicked it back up again. So what we've seen here is we were able to break it. We're able to log that it was down. It was pulled out of the pool. Managed availability went in, kicked IIS back up again, got it going, and the load balancer saw that it was up and added it back into the pool. So what I've shown here is just a very quick example of how you can use vCNS to load balance Exchange 2013. Again, I think it's something that is pretty valuable given the fact that it has to be load balanced. And not all of us are able to go out and purchase expensive hardware load balancers. Who would want to, right? Let's use the compute power that we have. And I hope you found this helpful, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.